back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bass University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break. Watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show. Get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
Just Bass You Go. You know, we didn't have that back then. And dude, it could just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
Welcome to Bass University Live. Glad you guys could join us. It's a great show. Look at it. I'm surrounded. I'm bordered by two elite pros. What could be better than that? It's good to have you with us, GDP.
Yeah,
as always.
Nice to be here, as always, Pete, for sure.
Mike,
it's good to be back, man.
It's awesome.
It's been a while. It's been a minute since I've been on a live show, so it's nice to be back.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
A lot going on in the sport. We're going to be talking about. I want to dive into. Well, we'll save that till the end of this. Nick LeBrun's coming on. He's a two-time MLF Tackle Warehouse Tour. Sorry, I got to get these names straight. But he won twice. He won on Guntersville. He won on the James River. Yeah. He's going to be talking to us today about mechanics, the importance of mechanics. This is Bass U deep stuff. How your mechanics are affecting the way that your baits are performing. Man, what a concept. You know, we take a lot of that for granted. So we're going to be diving into that with him. Tom Lang from Texas Parks and Wildlife talking about the Lunker Share program. They have the Texas Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame inductees happening next week. Our own Rich Leadbeater is going to be there for that. And so we're very excited to talk to him about what's going on. So many. It's got to have a 13-pounder. To get into the Lunker Share program.
13?
13.
Wow.
That's
a big one.
That's really big.
Wow. Big one. You've caught a 13, haven't you?
I've caught a 13. Unfortunately, the 13 that I caught, the 13 plus that I caught was in practice for an event. Now, I did catch a 12-13 during the tournament. That's the biggest bass I ever caught in a competition.
That's just amazing.
And it was in Texas.
Where in Texas? Falcon?
It was at Lake Amistad.
Amistad.
I think I should be inducted to the Hall of Fame eventually for that fish.
Well, we got the man. You can plead your case.
I'll plead my case. Okay.
Greg, you got 13-pounders yet?
I don't. 8.15 is my biggest.
That's
a big one.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's solid. No, I'm not in that category either. But Tom is going to be here with us, and we're going to be talking about that, which is going to be great. And we also we have a special guest, Riz, that's coming on for a little while to share in his championship.
Yes. Yes, we got the man Luminati.
Yes.
Luminetti
from the Illuminati.
Yes, he's gonna hop on with us for a quick segment towards the end of the show. We just want to get a feel from him, man. Like, how's he feeling? Yeah. What's going on? He's going to the classic fishing with no graph on the front of the boat. We're gonna try and get a whole show with him down the road. But
we got to have him on to congratulate him on what an amazing finish.
Yeah.
What a neat format going head-to-head like that.
That's awesome.
Did you get to catch any of that?
I watched almost all of it.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday was my anniversary, and I was watching it on my anniversary dates yesterday with Becky. And Beck was slapping me and hitting me and punching me in the face.
Nice.
But it was very exciting. You know, the thing about Lou is he's a Jersey guy. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally remember Lou. Because when you look at him, you look at somebody, you're like, man, he's unique looking. And I honestly – say that kind of in a funny way, but he is. Like, I remember him from when he was a kid at Bordentown Sportsman Center. I was delivering a seminar there.
No kidding.
Remember him being in the audience, shorter, smaller, younger, but it's him. I remember his face. He's unique. He's got a unique look. So it's cool to see that, and happy for him. Another New Jersey competitor. He's a New Jersey guy. I don't care if he's living in Charlotte now or whatever. He's a New Jersey guy. Mm-hmm. Great to see a New Jersey guy in the Classic because we all suck this year.
Yeah,
we were unable to put it away. I'm at the top of the list to suck and progressively went down from there with you guys. But great to see a New Jersey guy in the Classic representing the Northeast and the style that we fish. And I want to talk to him about it. I don't want to give too much away, but the way he fished, watching him was very Jersey-esque. Very Jersey-esque. And as people watching, listening right now, President, what the hell does that mean? But fishing by the seat of his pants, gone down the bank, looking at something, saying, is this better for this, better for that? And over the 2 days I watched him, I saw him catch fish on like 4 different things. And that was really cool, right? It's not that typical pattern, had to be this. He was just fishing, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lost art. I'm happy to see him win like that,
It really is cool, especially with the kids dominating with forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
To be able to combat that and just fish free like that.
Yes.
It's a really great win. We're going to have him on, guys, so you'll be able to ask questions to him. We're going to congratulate him on his big win. There's so much going on in the world of fishing. Of course, there's some did you see the Today Show covered the
did
walleye
not
cheaters?
see it, but I heard about it. And I don't know, Riz, I don't know if you can give us I don't know how this camera works on this show, but I'll hold them up. Maybe it would be the best way. Phenomenal. Normally we have some great lures. Pete, I thought we would do a special segment today on these lead weights. Now, I'm not a genius, but that one would work because of the pointy nature. I see that going down the gullet easier. This one is elongated, and I like the heaviness for the size of it. So we might go into this later.
Less detectable upon inspection.
Yeah, I say that kidding. Thanks for the zoom in, Riz. I say that kidding. Here's the thing. I said it in a social post today. It's despicable. It's like, why even do it? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I had the most horrible year, and it's like, even at the end of those tournaments, I'm glad. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you lose, you lose. Like, I don't do it because of that, so I can't wrap my hands around that. But the other sad part to this whole situation, and one of you guys said it kiddingly, or Riz said it, was that it took something like this to draw attention to the sport, to walleye fishing. Walleye fishing, man, they've been around for a long time, almost as long as bass tournaments. Good things happening over there. Great things. Big money. Amazing things in the walleye world. And it takes something like this to highlight the walleye circuit or fishing, the bigger pictures. Fishing?
Yep.
That sucks, dude. Sucks that this world is like that. It just sucks. If you're working in the PR industry right now and you want to help fishing for free, because I don't think we have a lot of money. We can't even get the elite guys paid. Head on over to bassuniversity.com. Drop us a note. We'd love to work with you. There you have it.
We love to work with you.
I don't know. We got a lot of people watching. Maybe somebody's in the PR world. We had Bailey on the other day, but he's got his own problems. He's only 24 years old. We can't leverage him, So whatever.
Let me ask you this question, because we were chatting about this. We had the Mike Long situation.
Mike Long, yes.
Right. We got these walleye guys.
Right.
In the world of in the regular, when you screw up, right, you go to rehab, and you come back, and it's a big story.
Yeah,
like you've changed and turned yourself around. Do you think these guys or guys like Mike Long, you think they can come back?
I don't know. I don't know if they can come back. And here's the reality of it, dude. We had the tournament director on Like Live the other day, and we all look at the same social media posts. We can watch Good Morning America or whatever, but at the end of the day, we don't know them. You know what I mean? Maybe they're deep down inside, they're good dudes, and it's possible, right? People make mistakes. This is a little extreme, but man, at the end of the day, here's the thing: money makes people crazy. Money makes people absolutely crazy, and it will change. It make a good person bad very easily. So. It's hard for me to sit here and throw stones, and it was definitely wrong. I don't even know what the punishment should be, but they may be good dudes at their core. Maybe they are. I don't know.
Right.
No one knows. No one knows. But money affects things. Money affects things.
Yeah,
definitely. I think fishing's one of those things, though, where it's like if you're trying to really, really deep down do it for the money, though, I don't think you're doing it for the right reasons.
You're not. Maybe they didn't get into it because of that, but somewhere something happened financially to their family. We don't know the story.
Never know.
You know what I mean? But here's the other thing it brings up. This is a whole other show. It's probably a Night Live show, which is, the buddy concept, the team concept, or the concept of fishing by yourself. I struggle with that. I did this year. I mentioned it a little bit on Night Live the other night. It's a tough concept, and you have to put
Can't police it.
Can't police it, right? You have to put things in place in those situations to stop this from happening. I think if more things were in place in that world, it would have never happened. Greg, I'm big on this. I hate that we go out by ourselves, even with the notion of Bass saying you have to run a camera, which we all do. Mm-hmm. But I've never been asked for any of my footage. Not at day one. Well, I didn't catch a fish, so that's probably why. But you know what I'm saying. I want to see the league step up and put things in place that, okay, if you can't get enough marshals, which sucks, which I don't think this is becoming a bass bashing session here. I don't think they're doing it right if they can't get 100 guys to come out and ride. But anyway, if you can't get a guy to be in the back of the boat, the league should have something in place to capture the day and police the day. Not
Do you know
us.
how many volunteers
Not
would
us.
probably go on that boat?
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of volunteers just
Yeah.
to sit there and
Yeah,
watch.
that's a whole nother conversation that we need to have with the leagues. But anyway.
Well, I can tell you this. This guy, if he was with us, would probably be infuriated. At least I think he would, because it's a really big day. There's something really big and wonderful, really, that is going on today, which is the memorial to the man, Ray Scott.
Ray Scott. Yeah.
It's going on down in Montgomery, and I just want to have us reflect a little bit on the sport that, his vision. None of us would be here. We'd be doing something else.
Agreed.
Who knows what that would be? But he had a dream, a vision. He loved this sport, and he brought it to the masses in a way that was just wonderful. Brought a lot of like-minded people together, created careers for us. And it was just amazing. It's just amazing life, and I'm glad they're having this memorial. People are coming from all over the country, all over the world.
Cool place to have it. Makes a lot of sense to have it in Montgomery.
It's where it all started.
Yeah.
It's where it all started.
Very cool.
So let me throw it to you guys. I mean, what is a memory or something meaningful that you remember about Ray Scott and how it affected you in your fishing?
Yeah, I'll go first and then let Greg hit it. My two big ones, I have one that is not a part, like Ray wasn't a part of it in person, and that's a bigger one probably, and the other one was in person. But the big one for not being in person is just that from when I was legitimately 10, 11, 12 years old till Ray got out of it, got directly out of the sport, he was a part of it, right? So like all my childhood memories of tournaments and the excitement and the energy of a weigh-in and the crowd buildup and the suspense and a lot of it's Ray's in that memory, right? So that's a huge part of it for me. The other part of it is I was super fortunate that I got to weigh in with Ray, and I know you did, but it was right at the end, toward the end, when Ray was stepping out from that role of the tournament, being at the tournaments, and I got to weigh in with him 2 times as a co-angler, coming on stage, having Ray, crack the jokes, and, at the time I had long hair, and I remember, there was a crack about the hair, and, just very Ray-esque, so just to be able to have that opportunity to weigh in with Ray there on stage was cool. So they're my 2 favorite memories.
Those are great memories. GDP, you're a little younger than us.
Man, I am, but one cool thing. So when I was growing up, dude, I was probably like literally 4 or 5 when I knew I wanted to be a professional bass fisherman.
Wow.
Super
That's
young.
awesome.
My grandfather, Gary Montana, who's still with us today, he's 90. He was really big into fishing, and he used to tape on VHS every single tournament.
Yeah.
So when I turned like 12 or 14, he gave me all them VHS tapes. And I used to sit on his floor at his house and watch these tapes with him. And Ray was always the guy.
Yeah.
I've never met Ray or have seen him in person, which is crazy. But I still always had the memory of the beginning of it all.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. It being that young. Now, Rich, you're even a little bit younger. Do you remember Ray Scott?
Yeah, so I remember. I was young enough to where I don't remember if Ray was a part of it, but I do remember the Saturday mornings Bassmaster events coming on when they were still on ESPN, and it was always a treat, when I would wake up, head down, and be fishing on the TV because I'm used to walking down. I see Dad watching SportsCenter, the news, anything like that, but. Ray was, from knowing what I know now and kind of in the last 5 years or so, 5 or 10 years, I've really tried to make myself into more of a history geek on fishing.
Yeah.
I watch all the old Lynn Dollar tournaments, all the old stuff. So I know Ray looking back on it. You know, I never got to really experience the Ray Scott era, firsthand.
Yeah.
But it's, to give fishermen a platform like he did is just amazing. So.
Amazing, iconic person, and even Jocelyn has a memory of Ray, and Jocelyn loves the tasseled jean jacket, and she's trying to bring that. Her and Becky are trying to bring that style back in right now. Real quick too, I did want to jump in and say it was cool, Greg, to hear that you knew that from 3 or 4 years old. Like for me it was later, but Pete had that same vision and dream as a 3 or 4 year old, but it was to have a bottle of Captain Morgan's in his hand. And it's come true all these years later, which is exciting.
I've always wanted to be a captain.
Dream, kids, if you're watching out there, dreams do come true. So,
well, he helped my dream come true. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget qualifying for the top 100. And I'm fishing, and I'm bumping into Roland and Rick.
Whoa, crazy!
And on the Derby day,
yeah.
And I'm standing in line, and Gary Klein's behind
me,
and David Fritz, and I'm like, I cannot believe. I'm
it's
here.
Freaky.
Giving me chills just thinking about it, and then putting those fish on the scales for Ray to call the weight. His hat. Oh man, it was just
very cool.
It was just. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Scott, and thoughts and prayers out to the Scott family.
Yeah.
And we wish we're all there with you right now. And great sport, and we're all here because of it. And we're going to be talking to some guys that are crushing it in this sport right now. We've got Nick LeBrun. He's coming on. He's won 2 Tackle Warehouse Pro Tours. We also have Lou Maietti, who just won the college shootout. He's going to be on with us, as well as Tom Lang, going to be talking about the giant Texas bass and the Freshwater Hall of Fame inductees that's going on. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some Bass University Live. BassBoatForSale.com is the world's premier bass boat listings business. We focus on driving premium web traffic to our main website, business Facebook page, business Instagram, and our business YouTube channel, providing your bass boat listings the best buying traffic and top-notch exposure. Whether you need to sell your bass boat or are looking to buy a bass boat, it's simple. We give boats exposure so buyers shop and sellers list. One-time listing fee, no commission, and boats list until they sell. BassBoatForSale.com. Check it out.
AquaView, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worman series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing, is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together, the One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically, They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back to Bass University Live in the Tackle Direct Studios. Glad you guys could be back with us. We got something really cool that's happening in the show. Is Cashion Rods has a brand new release that's top secret. And at 12 o'clock, right, Josh? 12 o'clock, they're going to announce it, and we'll be able to announce it.
12 o'clock today?
12 o'clock today.
Wow.
During our show.
That's cool. We might be able to show them on the show what that release is.
It's very, very possible.
Cool, man.
Nice. Some really cool stuff coming from Cashion Rods. So,
awesome.
But we've got, like I said, we got Nick LeBrun coming on with us. Rich, you just point at me when you're ready to go. Hey,
we are ready.
We got a Facebook like and share contest. Josh, we kind of skipped over some of this stuff. We're giving away some amazing prize packs. What do we got going on?
So we have for our like and share contest, you will get a 6-month Bass University subscription. You will get missile baits and some Rapple lures.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
And some
good
weights.
stuff. This is good looking stuff right here.
We're throwing in those lead weights that Mike
those weights. Well, he's holding some kind of weight.
Yeah, heard some weights.
Some Nico weights there.
Yeah, we got missile baits, some Rapala stuff. Demon, of course, is up there.
Ike's Demon.
Yeah,
excellent.
Cool prize pack, man.
And you know what, guys? If you're not a subscriber to Bass U, no better time than right now at BassU.tv. We're delivering some amazing content. As a matter of fact, we're filming this week with both of the guys here at the table. And as well as Brian Schmidt, we're going to be diving in deep with some Bass University lessons on the water on how to contend with 12 inches of rain and rising water.
Yeah, high water. Yeah.
But it's that's what's available at BassU.tv, and we have an amazing annual prize pack, Jocelyn. We got the Boom Boom swim baits. If you subscribe as an annual subscriber, and you also get a hat.
You get a hat and you get a face shield as well. So it's a Boom Boom 5-inch line through swim bait.
Heck yeah!
The deal.
Shout out to Boom Boom.
Yeah, line throughs are awesome.
Yeah, Uncle Freddie.
Yeah. And the face shield will come in handy on days like we've had the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Keep the rain out of your mouth.
Yeah, out of your mouth, out of your eyes. Definitely.
Yeah, that's right. You know, that works really good. I didn't realize because I don't use them that much.
Oh, I'd
but
love
when
it.
you have to run in a spritzy rain.
I keep mine under my seat. You know, the seats in the Bass Cat pull up. And I keep the seat on the left. I have my spare prop and a couple other things there. And the seat on my right, I carry my insurance and my information in a little watertight box. And I keep that face shield. And when you're out there and on the if all of a sudden it's torrential or whatever, I throw that on. It's great. It's awesome.
It feels like bullets if you don't have it.
Oh yeah, it hurts.
It really
sure.
does.
Yeah.
So all that. So get subscribed as an annual member to Bass University TV. Stop what you're doing. Do it right now. And if you do that, you can get your IMs through to us. And Jocelyn will ask your question. And that's all available to our subscribers and a lot
And pay
more.
attention because there is the trivia question. So pay attention to these next few interviews.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Exactly. We're going to be giving away some really good stuff there, too. So without any further ado, we've got a champion here with us. Back-to-back Tackle Warehouse Tour winner over there at the MLF with Nick LeBrun, the champ.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Nick, what's up?
It's good to have you here with us, man. We just terrific year. You're crushing it out there on tour. And we were just doing some searching. It looks like you got a good chance to qualify for something else through the Bassmasters this year as well.
Ooh.
You're on fire, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Man, it's all God. I'm just a guy holding the fishing pole. I don't know what's going on, but it's been a good year. And, if we catch them at Sam Rayburn, we'll have some decisions to make. And, these open fields are tough. I mean, I feel like it's hard to win an open than it is a tour event, But, we're sitting in we're only 9 points out of the third position and in the Central. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Good luck. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
And that's going to be at Rayburn. That's your neck of the woods, man. I mean, you got to feel good going into that Derby.
Yeah, I love Sam Rayburn. I live in Bossier City, Louisiana, but Rayburn is kind of my home lake. Just from before I went pro, I fished a ton of BFLs and team tournaments, and Rayburn was kind of the epicenter of this area, and so to have an event on Rayburn period is exciting, but to have one of this magnitude is going to be really good. And October 20th is going to go down.
Heck yeah!
Well,
we'll be watching that.
It's going to be televised.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
Last open in that division. Yeah, it will be televised.
Yeah, we'll get.
Hopefully, I'll be easy to follow, and hope you don't have to scroll down the list like 5 minutes. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Nick, real quick, Bossier City. I have a great connection with Shreveport, Bossier City. It's for me in my career. It was literally the Red River, and that area was the start of my career. So. Man, it's fishy down. It's so fishy down there. It's just awesome. I love it. Definitely.
Hey, just a quick question for you. We just had an open here and had a lot of guys asking me, was Iaconelli in the jungle or the little jungle, or where were you at in that event?
So you talking about in the classic that Skeet won? Where yes. So it was the little jungle that I fished.
Little jungle
in that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and Man, I don't know. That place has changed so much. Nick, you know better than I do because I haven't fished it in a little bit. But that place is a changing fishery. But it was always so cool to me because, it did change, and it was like when I won the Federation Nationals there in 98, it was you'd get in a backwater, and it was a forest. You could barely get through the trees. Like, literally, local guys had tin cans nailed up on trees to mark which left or right you should make.
That's awesome.
And then I remember fishing it like 5 years later, and there were no trees. Like, there were giant lanes cut in the backwaters, and then the next time I fished it, you couldn't get in some, and sandbars had changed. I love that about a fishery. The Delaware River is a lot like that. It's a changing dynamic to it. It's really cool.
Why did the trees go away, Mike? What was the deal with that? Was it logging or?
Nick, what is it? It's just age, right? Age with the trees?
Yeah,
is that what?
Certain kind of trees will only last in the water for so long,
right,
and then they eventually just fall over and become logs. You can Google old pictures of Toledo Bend, and it was just solid forest except for the boat lanes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about, but, Red River has changed just in, 25 years. So
yeah,
what's crazy, Mike, is practicing for that open 2 weeks ago. I said, well, hey, there's a little cut you can run in the back way to Caspiana. I'm just going to go down there and it'll be a lot quicker. I get down there and there's a big mound of sand like the size of my house. And I'm like, well, can't go through there. It's crazy the way that it changes, especially since we had the floods in 15 and 16.
Yeah.
I hear the rock jetties there sometimes overnight fall in, and there's rocks that can prevent you from getting.
That's a different show, Pete. That's an Ike Live show. That's not a bad show. We're staying informational here. Not going down that route.
Watch out for those moving rocks.
Yeah, they're very mobile down there sometimes.
They are.
Well, my best advice for you on the Rayburn is right out of the gate when you make the cut down there is fall in. It'll take your career places you can't imagine.
It'll wake you up.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if I knew that would solidify a top 10, I'd put my goggles on, baby.
Scuba gear. Scuba gear. Send it to Nick.
Hey, I tell you what, though, it is a tight heat. If you're 6 places out of third, and how many points is that?
Would you say 9?
Not.
Well, I'm fifth. Position,
you're fifth.
But I'm
okay.
only 9 points out of third.
Wow.
Is there guys close behind you? Is there any separation?
Yeah, like me and Hallman are tied. We have the same points, and the guys in first and second, Washam and Gaston, I believe they're tied, and they've got a little bit of separation, but it's how these opens are. I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the ones you won, man. You won big back to back on really bodies of water that are dramatically different. And we were talking with Rich about working with you, on topics. And one of the things that came up that's so interesting is mechanics.
Yeah.
And you value your mechanics in fishing. Really, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. So, we're going to film with you on it on our seminars this year, but let's dive into it right now.
Yeah.
Why are mechanics so important?
Yeah.
I think it's just separating yourself from a lot of other guys out there, and just for viewers, when you think of mechanics, that we're not talking about, cracking your cowl on your Yamaha and changing your oil, right? mechanics of
that's important too, though.
Yeah, that is important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
When we talk about mechanics, that's really the details of fishing. It goes beyond just casting out there and reeling in, or flipping in there and shaking it and reeling it out. When you dive in deep and kind of pick up on the little nuances, I think that helps you get a few more bites, and sometimes those bites can dramatically change the outcome of the event. And I don't have all the answers, but next week when we film, I will be kind of talking about a few things that I've picked up on that. Do they work? You have to ask the fish, but in my mind, they work, and so that's what really matters as fishermen. Is just having that confidence and really believing in what you're doing. Because if it checks a mental box, that's all the validation you need.
Yeah. This topic is so interesting to me because it's so under talked about. And like Greg, we shared a boat the other day, and there's all these ones that hit you and they're obvious in your face, right? It's like the lure, the forward-facing sonar, there's all these topics. But mechanics, I think, gets lost in the mix a little bit. And I'm glad we're talking about this because I think there's especially a lot of younger anglers coming up that miss that part, right? And we're not talking about, going from not catching fish to catching fish. We're talking about catching 10 versus catching 6. And I love that. Because that's, man, if you're a tournament angler, obviously that's a giant difference maker. But, man, if you get the fish once or twice a month, dude, you want 10, not 6.
Yeah.
You only get out once a month. So this is a great topic. Nick, flush it out a little bit with us. When we say mechanics, we're talking about the whole thing, right? From the cast to rod positioning to retrieving the lure to hook set, right? We're talking about that whole process.
Yeah, and you can even throw in body positioning or body language in that.
Yeah.
That's a huge – where your body is when it comes hook set time is so key. And I don't care if you're punching a mat that's 15 foot from the boat, or if you just made a 120-foot cast on a ledge, your position and your posture is so key to getting that fish in the live well. And I think a lot of people overlook that. And, but all those things you mentioned, they've all got to kind of work together.
Yeah.
To give you the best chance of getting the bite and landing the bite. And hey, sometimes you can do everything to a textbook A+, and you're still going to lose a fish. I mean, that's just the way that it is. But what we're trying to do is really dial in and increase your opportunities and increase your success rate as far as a bite to land ratio.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as you were talking, it's funny because my mind was wandering to, like, in other sports.
Right.
You hear about this all the time, right?
Yep.
Like if you're watching football or baseball and you've got, coaches and trainers that work with these athletes nonstop and they're working on mechanics.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
But in fishing, it's like, for crying out loud, nobody – I haven't heard that. I don't hear anybody talking about it.
I work with guys on mechanics.
You do, right, because you guide, you train on the water. Right.
When I teach on the water.
Right.
Because you can see the red flags a lot of times, and that's why it's wonderful we're having this conversation. But I've had one customer in particular that I always remember is he had all the right gear. He was getting into advance, couldn't catch him. He was not catching fish.
Right.
And we couldn't figure out why. Like, he was making the right decisions, the right bait choices. But when I started observing him, which is a key thing when you're training, is just to sit down and watch the guys fish, he was missing his targets. Like his mechanics were off. He was
casting mechanics.
His casting mechanics were completely off, and he was missing targets. He was landing on top of them or short.
Wow. Yeah.
And you can't imagine how that reduces the amount of bites that you'll get.
Yeah.
So I spent getting him to cast beyond the target.
Yeah.
Getting his baits to land properly in my mind, the pitching was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of guys when they're pitching use a lot of body movements that are unnecessary. And Nick, I teach them this, like it's rod tip speed. And it's about it's in your wrist.
Yep. Yeah.
It's about getting rod tip speed, which is going to get you your distance, and it's going to get you your most accuracy. There's some of the things that I teach, Nick.
I like Nick. I want to bring back up the one you talked about, which I think is even less obvious, which is body positioning.
Yeah.
Right. Flush that out a little bit more with us, because to Pete's point, you could have the best rod reel, the best lure in the world, and make the right cast, but then not land that fish or not get the hook set or not retrieve that lure right based on your body positioning. Give us just a general rundown. What is the correct body positioning?
Yeah, so let's look at like offshore fishing. Going back to my Guntersville win, I caught a lot of the fish that week on a 4.5-inch hollow body, just like a producer swim bait with a 3/4 ounce head. And I was throwing that thing probably about 130, 140 foot long cast. And when that thing would go down and hit the bottom in like 14 foot of water, my boat was setting out deep in the river channel. And I noticed that I called it squaring up with the fish. Like if I'm going to fist fight with somebody, I'm squared up with them. My chest is facing them.
Yeah.
And I'm in position. And so if I'll bomb that swim bait out there, even though I've got 20-pound line and an exposed hook coming out the back of the bait, I've still got to give it everything I've got and have the right position to hook that fish.
Yeah.
Especially with that much fluorocarbon out. I know fluorocarbon has minimal stretch, but do me a favor, like just walk out in your driveway and spool out about 130 foot of line and just pull on it and see what kind of stretch that has.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and you're a 200-pound man doing that. Okay. So imagine if it's a 2 to 6 pound fish.
Yeah.
And so when you square up with that fish, what you're doing is when you get that bite that's way out there, you're allowing your body and the rod to move in this type of a axis. Okay.
Yeah.
Straight up will be an okay hook set. To the side might get the job done. But when you can set the hook at this angle, kind of like that 45 over your shoulder, that's the ultimate range of motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Range of motion.
And me, I retrieve my bait caster with my left hand, and I've got the rod in my powerful dominant right hand at all times. So people will look at me and say, "Oh, are you left-handed?" No, I'm right-handed, but I want to set the hook and make that long cast with my most powerful hand.
Yeah.
And so being in that position, when I get that bite that's way out there, if my chest is facing my lure, like I'm in the ultimate position, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm retrieving and I'm like this and my rod's kind of out here, and I'm talking to my cameraman.
Yeah.
You're out of position.
It's true though.
Or answering a question that a marshal has. Like, man, I'm gonna miss that bite.
Yeah.
But if I'm like this, 3 o'clock. And like I never leave that position.
Right.
I mean, that's going to increase those odds in my favor. And so, to me, it doesn't matter what kind of technique, deep or shallow. Your chest always wants to be facing your lure or facing the fish.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. I love that. And use the word squared up. I think that's a perfect term to what we're, mentally I was thinking about that. It's a perfect term. And you just.
And I'll add this too.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, especially on the final day at Guntersville, when I had the school fired up, I would bomb out there. And while that bait was sinking, I was like getting my feet planted, like,
right.
you know.
Yeah, getting ready.
I like it.
I'm getting dug in,
yeah,
and I'm anticipating that bite.
Right.
You know, and you're not going to get bit every cast, but I think having the mindset of never being surprised by a bite, because if I look in my career, all the fish that I lose, normally I'm not expecting the bite. I'm like, oh, there was one right there.
Yeah.
And that was a fail because I should have been anticipating that bite.
Yeah. I was going to say, you said it half kiddingly about the camera guy, and we're all not going to have camera people on the boat with us, but I think that happens a lot, right?
Does.
You're talking about an 8-hour day in a tournament or a 10 or 12-hour day fun fishing.
You can lose
Dude,
focus.
It's so easy. There's a million things
Right.
going on in the world. Now they're telling you to try to look at your active target every second, and you got a bird that flies past. Oh, a bird. You know. And my son's out playing soccer, and he's all of a sudden playing in the grass. This is when he was younger. He's just, oh, there's grass, fuzzy, cool. There's all those distractions that happened.
You got to expect that bite.
Yeah.
You got to expect that bite on every cast.
So we got people listening and watching right now like, oh man, this is a great concept, but I lose focus. How do they get better at what you're talking about? How do they learn to always stay squared up and ready? Is there a technique, or how did you do it?
Well, to me, it's a mindset. So when I'm having a tough day and a grind like Red River, okay, or somewhere where you're not going to get a lot of bites, you've kind of got to train your mind to think there's a 5-pounder standing at my lure right now.
Right.
Yeah. Or this hole in this mat has the fish to make the cut if right here. Now, the problem is when you go for 4 hours without a bite, that wears you down. And it's like it stresses you out. You're like, okay, no, this is it. This is going to be the bite.
Yeah.
And 4 hours later, you hadn't got bit. And I think what separates the men from the boys is keeping that mindset until you put the boat on the trailer. Yeah. And guys, that's hard to do, and I don't do the greatest job at that sometimes, but having that will to want to be like that and have that mindset, I think that's going to make you more successful.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good point.
And I love the cross body range of motion. I've taught guys, and I've been caught and trapped in this where I call it setting to the weak side. Like you got the bite and you're setting, there's nowhere for you to go.
Yeah.
Like you cannot pressure the fish near as much. Whereas if you're coming, you can rotate your torso. Just that simple, you're moving so much more line.
Yeah.
And just like Nick, the range of motion. What a great term. To explain it, Nick, and it just allows you to keep the pressure. But stay off of that weak side, guys.
Yeah.
Jocelyn, I know we've got some IMs over there. Let's send one over to Nick.
We do. So Team No Fish wants to know, what made you throw a dark color buzzbait instead of a light color one on the James when the sun was out? He was always told that the opposite light of sun, so dark cloudy.
That's a good question, because I've heard that old wives'
Same.
tale too. Yes, it's a good question.
Yeah, so I'm trying to recall. I think, I did. I had like a 4-pounder on day one down in Grays Creek on a buzz bait. It was black, and I didn't know they made white buzz baits. I thought black was really but to me, it's a confidence thing. I think of throwing white when it's really, really like muddy water. But to me, black, like black, and especially a gold blade. I mean, it's a confidence thing for me. I'm the same way with a plopper. I'll throw a white sometimes, but if I'm going to try a plopper, on an Ozark style lake, I'm going to go to black first.
Right.
I don't know why. I mean, there's nothing out there swimming that looks that black, but it looks good in the mouth of a 6-pounder, and that's what I always go back to.
Yeah,
I like it.
Pete, I know you're a big advocate of black, and I am too.
I am too.
I think you've said it before. I think the silhouette aspect of it, right, where they can't get a really good look at it, right? That buzzbait's coming over, and man, they hear it. It sounds like a shad or a bluegill, something trying to get away, and they go up to investigate, and they can't really see it. They just see the commotion. I think that's important sometimes.
We're starting to see that in crankbaits a little bit now.
Yeah.
Even too.
Oh yeah.
The dark colored crankbaits. Yeah, they're popular. And to the one we're trying to explain this.
Yeah.
But I've always, if you look at just about any bait fish, crawfish, bluegill, the shad, there's black.
There is elements of black.
There's elements of black in every one of those things. So maybe that's it.
Team No Fish, I'd love to give you some big scientific, in-depth answer, but sometimes with pro anglers, it's like, hey, Mike, what made you go into that one creek? And how did you know the winning fish would be in there? You're like, I don't know. I just went in there and it looked good.
Yeah, usually for me, it's if I smell the smell of pizza coming out of a creek, I venture in. There must be a pizzeria up there. I'm hungry.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I think there's one thing we need to add to this too, real quick. I think in fishing, let's face it, controlled variables are very low.
Yeah.
As far as what you can do, and more or less what he's saying is, if you told me I can go out and practice every day and I'll get better at controlling my positioning, I'll get better at my casting as far as silence, hitting the water, I'm going to do it. Because in fishing, I mean, there ain't many things you can do to control it. That bass bites it and goes left, goes right, comes at you. You can't control that.
Right.
But if you can square up like he's saying, and you can control how your hook set's going to follow through.
Yeah, I love that.
Control what you're thinking
That's
about.
big.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Control what you can control.
Yeah. Seriously.
Right. And that's going to help your mental health overall, because if I know that I'm checking all these boxes and, I've got, sharp hooks and my posture squared up, my line's good, I made the right cast, and all these things are checked, and I still lose the fish, well, that helps me just move on to the next bite. I'm not dwelling on, I knew I shouldn't have set the hook to the side like that, or man, that Hayabusa TBL was 7 months old, I should have changed it by now, or whatever, know. Yeah. So if you checked all those boxes, I mean, what else can you do?
Yep.
That's what you can. Yeah, you're exactly right.
What?
I'm sorry, Greg.
I was say, even thinking about it, if you're, let's say you're going down a bank, and if you're right-handed or left-handed, that'll change your approach to me. Like for example, I'm right-handed. If I'm going down a bank this way and I'm throwing a buzzbait, I want to set like he's saying. I want to cast on the left side of the bank and set this way for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I approach pretty much. And a lot of times it can be even with the wind a little bit, because I know I'm going to square my, hook set position perfect.
That's crazy. That's a whole nother subtopic.
It is.
Right? Like,
it really is.
The approach.
The approach of the cover.
The approach and how – we should write a note about this, because this is trick right here. But
Nick, you're covering this next week.
You might have – we might throw this at you, Nick. But the approach in relation to your mechanics, I think, is – I've never really heard that talked about before.
That's it, because, you look at a piece of habitat, you're like, okay – if I get a bite, you have to
visualize.
You got to visualize if I actually get a bite here, what am I going to do with it? You know, so you got to try to approach it that way.
And I was really this year I was able to approach cover anyway, because I knew I wasn't going to catch it. So I it didn't matter. I could go in backwards. It worked pretty good. But
I want to ask this question, Nick, because I used a butt seat at the Chesapeake. Yeah. And I don't like to because I feel like it gets in the way of my mechanics.
And it gets in the way of you falling.
Yeah, and falling in the water.
Well, in that case, it was good. But I chose it because where I was fishing was exposed to the boat traffic, and we were getting confused waves, and I was having a hard time being able to keep my boat positioned at times. So I put it there. And I used it, but I always try not to use it. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you'll never see a seat in my boat unless I'm like, St. Lawrence River or, Great Lakes somewhere, and I know it's going to be rough. And that's really just kind of for safety. But any other time, it's going to be no seat. And to me, it's more of a mental thing, because I feel like if I'm sitting down, I'm not in the game. I'm not as sharp. I'm not. My posture is not where it needs to be. I know some guys around here that use a seat and crush them. And catch big fish. But it's a personal choice. For me, if you see me leaning on a seat on Rayburn on a slick day, then I've got like kidney stones and I got bone spurs or something. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that it's shortened. You can't step back.
Yeah.
You got to, and that's the other thing is if you are going to use it, you got to plan for what happens if you do get a bite.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Yeah. Jocelyn?
Right.
We do. So in the fall season with temps changing, what baits would you go to?
Oh, fall baits. That's a good question.
You're going to be making that adjustment at Rayburn here shortly.
Yeah, I got one right here in the day box.
How long's that boat? That camera angle, the boat looks like it's a 30-foot long boat. That's awesome.
So, like, obviously, like, different lakes are going to be different, but I think one thing that's consistent and one thing that you guys will agree with is generally shad are smaller. Fish are shad related. It's kind of a transition time. This is a little search bait that I use a lot. This is just a 1/4 ounce Bill Lewis trap.
Old school.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
This is something that works. But when that bite's tough and the shad just really aren't up there in the backs of the creek yet, and they're still kind of transitioned, this little bait right here will catch them. I catch them on this all over the country. We don't get a lot of fall events nationwide for me, but like there's always a Toyota series or an open around here, and this little dude here is always a player. Another thing I would go to is maybe downsizing a bladed jig. Instead of throwing that 3/8 or instead of throwing that half, go to a 3/8, maybe a little bit smaller trailer. But really it's just about matching the hatch. I mean, I can't wait until they get on that big, 5 or 6 inch swim bait or that mag draft or whatever you want to catch them on. But when it's not time, it's not time.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of downsize. And so whatever that looks like for you, it's just going to depend on lake by lake. But to me, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, Caddo Lake, they're going to be on those smaller thread fin shad until like you have some major fronts, and then the big gizzards are up on the bank.
Right.
And at that point, it's fun. But until you get to that point, you got to downsize.
Yeah.
1/4 ounce trap.
They're
cool.
They're both great tips. I mean, I know in the fall the bait is the most important thing. If you're down south, it's all shad. If you're up here, it could be herring. I've seen the bait change, but bait's always the key.
Yep.
And I love about the tip about going smaller, because I've seen that. It's funny, Nick, you pulled out the 1/4 ounce rattle trap, and man, that thing, since I was young, that thing in the fall has been a player. A 1/4 ounce chrome blueback, chrome blackback rattle trap. How long, Pete? Forever.
And I'm sitting there wondering why one of us wasn't throwing that in the Chesapeake
I don't
tournament.
have no idea. We forgot about it.
Those shad were already starting to gang up.
We forgot
They
about
were
it.
just starting to get going.
Yeah, crazy.
But great.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, there's an old timer down at Toledo Bend right now saying, I had 28 on that back in 72. It just works.
Oh, man.
Hey, well, Nick, I want to thank you for joining us today. And we're really excited to work with you at Bass University next week. So I appreciate that. And thanks for being here. And really good luck next, what is it, next week? No, 2 weeks on Rayburn.
October 20th. Is the Bass Open.
Couple weeks.
And thank you guys for having me. I mean, it's an honor to be on here. Man, this year has been wild, and it's been a blessing. And to be on your show is very special to me.
It's awesome. We appreciate it, Nick, and best of luck, man. Hope you qualify. Then you have a good tough decision. I'd rather have a good tough decision than no decision at all. So wish you luck. So, wish you a lot of luck.
Exactly.
All right, everybody. The champ, Nick LeBrun. Thank you.
See you next week.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was great.
That's
man.
tricky stuff, dude.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's next level stuff. I love it. I came in on the right show.
I'm
glad I came in on this, because that's tricky stuff. And I mean, I was just going to say real quick for guys watching and listening, That's not it. Like when we get him, I have a note here about Nick's going to be talking about grip tightness and just how your grip on the reel can affect what the bait does. Dude.
That's the one that made my ears
jump.
That's
devastatingly crazy. Yeah. Like nobody's talking about that. So tune in. Keep your eye on this stuff we're doing next. It's gonna be good, man.
That square up and body positioning and like range of motion. That's so freaking true.
Big key terms.
These are Greg said it. These are things that we can work on and control.
Approaching how you approach the cover based on your based on your body.
Yeah.
Key. Big stuff, dude.
So much is out of our control. So, but hey, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Yep.
And we're going to be coming back. We've got Tom Lang from Texas Parks and Wildlife, and Lou Maietti going to be joining us, fresh off his college bracket win.
Is it like that or is it like that? I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Oh, Josh says.
I don't know what we're
the
talking
all-seeing eye, Lou.
All right, guys, we'll be right back after this. BassBoatForSale.com is the world's premier bass boat listings business. We focus on driving premium web traffic to our main website, business Facebook page, business Instagram, and our business YouTube channel, providing your bass boat listings the best buying traffic and top-notch exposure. Whether you need to sell your bass boat or are looking to buy a bass boat, it's simple. We give boats exposure so buyers shop and sellers list. One-time listing fee, no commission, and boats list until they sell. BassBoatForSale.com. Check it out.
AquaView, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% bait here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together, the One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Welcome back to Bass University Live. Man, that's the first time I got to talk to Nick, and man, I got to say I was impressed.
Yeah, very cool.
He's very articulate, very well spoken. Diving into his fishing in a way that I've not heard people talk about that much before.
That's deep, man. That's deep. That's next level. That's what I'm stoked about that. I said it off camera, but the first show I come back in on in a long time, it's to this, which that to me is what I love about this program. I'm biased, of course, but that next level stuff. That's not stuff. You're not flicking on YouTube, bro.
Yep.
And hearing people talk about that crap.
Yeah.
That's trick.
Yep.
That is trick stuff, and I love to hear about it, man.
Yep. And the great thing about us, the education is we're going to take the time with it to get all the details.
Flesh it out.
We're going to flush it all out. It's not going to be a 30-second, tip. You guys are going to learn something that's going to help your fishing.
Yeah.
But we do want to give, help make a special announcement. One of our partners that's been with Bass University for such a long time, and we love the folks at Cashion Fishing Rods, and we love the rods. I'm most impressed with how they survived me falling on them on the chest. I don't know how that happened.
Tough rods right there.
American made.
You're a pretty good sized man.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, I say that in a good way. I say that in a good way. I didn't say that in a bad way. You should be a good sized man. If you're a man, you should be a good sized.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a testament to Cashion Rods.
I didn't say that in a bad way.
They stood up to my big man size.
Yeah, I said that in a positive way.
You know what? I look back at that video and I had flip flops on and I kicked my crankbait rod across the deck when I was going down.
Wow.
How lucky did I get that I didn't bury some of them treble hooks?
You got lucky.
In my foot during that whole procedure.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
That would have been bad. But great job, Cashion Rods. You got me, it helped me with a great finish. But, man, we've got a brand new product. Mike, can you hand that rod over to me?
Sure. Yeah.
This is the new Cashion Element. That's just released. It's an amazing new Cashion fishing rod. It is really, it's just the top of the line rod that they've just built with a lot of great new features. You were talking about the paint job
cosmetics
and its cosmetics on it. It's very, very beautiful rod, extremely durable, light, and super sensitive. And we're going to talk to you a lot more about this rod, but this was just announced. It's available at Cashion Fishing Rods right now. And we'll dive in a little bit more on the rod, guys, because right now we have a guest that we want to get to because we're kind of I know Tom is on a time limit, so we want to get to him right away. He's a friend of the show, and this is Tom Lang from Texas Parks and Wildlife. Tom, how are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. How are you all doing?
Good.
It's great to be back on.
It's great to have you with us, as always. You're such a great guest, and you always got such great insight. And there's a ton of stuff happening in your world right now, especially next week. What's going on?
Oh, well, next week we get the honor and pleasure of inducting Gary Klein into the Texas Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And so we'll be doing that next Friday night. We're really excited about that. You guys know Gary. He's been in the industry for over 40 years. It's the only real job he's ever had, So he's been out there grinding it out and working it. 2-time Angler of the Year, co-founder of Major League Fishing, and certainly gives a lot back, Not originally from Texas, originally from California, but like many great Texans, they came to Texas and did great things. So we're happy to welcome him into the Texas Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame.
As well as Gary is a top-level Bass University instructor who has been with us at the Bass University for a lot of years. And you guys can go through your category section and find all the amazing content. That Gary has produced for us, and he's such a great teacher. Yeah. He's one of the best teachers on the planet.
It's really good. Yeah, for sure.
So and he does gives a lot of time to us here at the Texas Freshwater Fisheries Center too, helping with our Veterans Day events and other things, including Bass Brigades, who does a lot of the brigade universities, which are actually a leadership camp focusing on fisheries, fishing, and fishery science. And so Gary has given a lot of his time and funds and gear to that, which is really appreciated. And to our veterans, donating his time, volunteering his time there at Walter Reed Hospital and taking veterans fishing. I mean, Gary's just a tremendous guy, and we're really honored to make him our 37th member of the Texas Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's cool.
Well, our own Rich Ledbetter is going to be down there with you guys. Hopefully Lee Livesey will come by and join us. We're going to be working with those guys down on Lake Fork next week too. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about this event.
Me too. Big time.
And one of the things that's going on down there is you have this amazing program called the Lunker Share program, and that is there's some awards going on this weekend with that as well.
Yeah, so the very next night we're going to do our ShareLunker Awards banquet, where we honor all of our anglers that donated legacy class ShareLunkers. So they loaned their big 13+ pound bass for us to be able to spawn with the offspring of previous male ShareLunkers from previous ShareLunkers. And so we want to recognize and thank all those anglers. We had 23 anglers this year turn in 24 13+ pounders.
Wow. Good.
I'm going to tell you what, 4 of those were actually top 50 bass this year.
Wow.
So 4 bass in the top 50 biggest bass ever caught in Texas, including a 1706.
Whoa.
You can only imagine OHIV, right? So really excited about that, and having all those anglers around to celebrate their part in the cycle of success. Really, it's a angler industry agency partnership, and they're that angler portion of it. They catch those fish, they loan them to us, and we make more, bigger, better bass for everybody thanks to them loaning those to us. And certainly our industry partners like Toyota, it is the Toyota ShareLunker program, helps make the world go around for us. So and that just makes bigger, better bass fishing for everybody involved.
Man, it's an awesome program, Pete. I wish I had that in more places because I can honestly say, for me personally, my 2 biggest bass I ever caught in my life both came from Texas. It's a great program. I mean, if you're looking for big fish, you got it. You got to be in Texas.
One of my top 3 came from Toledo Bend.
Yeah,
which was a 10-pounder. Let me ask you this, Tom, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Huh. I don't know. You might be prepared for this question. Huh. Have you drawn? Is there a consistency on what these lunker share fish are being caught on? Like, is it swim baits? Is it jigs? Have you looked into that?
Well, I will tell you. At the end of the line of people that get off their duffs and go out and fish for it, that's pretty consistent. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
you just got to get after it. I wonder. Is it a drop shot? Yeah. Would it freak us? Would it blow our hair back if we found out it was finesse techniques that are putting these fish in the boat?
I will tell you that Gary Klein caught his on a drop shot rig. So. So he caught one in 2018, and his was on a drop shot rig. Have seen quite a few umbrella rigs coming in the last few years. Obviously, forward-facing sonars helping folks to kind of find those, but not all those fish were caught with it. We had about, and just anecdotally talking to the anglers, about half of the legacy class lunkers that came in this year, they were using forward-facing sonar. But really, I mean, put that in perspective, even if take that out of the equation, and the other half, 12 is still a heck of a dang on number to have that many legacy class coming in. So I think good things are happening there. One real big milestone we're excited to kind of share with that lunker banquet is we had 2 guys catch lunkers off of Little Lake Daniel. And what's great about Lake Daniel to me, besides it being a small lake out in the middle of nowhere, which we love the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of Texas that's middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful country. But Lake Daniel became the 75th different public water body to pump out a legacy ShareLunker.
Unreal.
That is awesome.
We all know about Rayburn. We all know about Toledo Bend. We know about Fork, and we know about OHIV now, of course, too. But Lake Daniel, I mean, we've got 75 different public water bodies over the course of this program. That have actually pumped out 13+ pound bass. And I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It speaks to the hard work of our hatchery guys and our management biologists, So I'm so proud to be able to work with them.
Yeah, that's awesome, Pete. And I love that these are all public fisheries, because so many times I think when you think about big, giant bass, you think, oh, that guy snuck on a golf course or he's fishing a private pond. And these are all public fisheries across the state of Texas. I love that. Tom, I'll put you on the spot now. And give us – you don't have to give us a lot. Give us one of those lakes, smaller lakes that guys aren't recognizing. It's not getting the PR. Put it on the map. What's another small lake in Texas that has potential for a big giant bass to be caught out of it?
I think Nacogdoches isn't very big. It pumps out some really great fish. In fact, last year we had a 6th-generation lunker come out of there, a lake record over 15 pounds.
Wow.
That Joe Castle caught a season ago. So I think Nacogdoches is one of those that some people know about it, sure. Little Houston County Lake, it turned out one this year as well. Heck, and last year Lake Tyler did too. So really kind of crazy to see some of these smaller lakes, but they do pump them out as well.
Wow, that's awesome. These lakes are, man, you mentioned Houston. I know some of these are in the Dallas area. These fish are coming from all over Texas.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's right. And in fact, Texas is a big state. And so one of the things I think is new, a lot of people haven't really recognized yet, but the last couple of seasons, we've actually started a response team. And so all of our biologists and our hatchery team members, it's not just the couple of us that, are directly involved with the ShareLunker program. All of our inland fisheries team is really on a call list so that we can pick up those bass as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Provide good service to the anglers so they're not waiting 8 hours down at Lake Falcon or Amistad for us to get there. They're, cutting the time short on the time that they have to wait for our truck to get there. And also we get that fish into our care more quickly and back to Athens at TFFC more quickly. And I think that you saw the results of that this year, the results of that and other things as well. But, we had 100% return this year. 100% of the fish that return into this program will return to the water alive.
A round of applause for that, real quick. Yeah. I got to have a round of applause. That's impressive.
That's amazing. Yeah. We're going to let you go, Tom, but I want to try to get one more question. Do we have a question? Jocelyn's looking at me.
I do. I have one more question.
One more question.
Yeah, Tom. So it's amazing to see, because I've been fishing in Texas for a long time now through the tournament scene. It's amazing to see what you guys are doing. And I would love to get New Jersey to do something like that. Because right now, all we have is Share a Dink program. And if you catch one under a pound, you can submit it. And that's all we have here, little small fish. So, we got to talk to Jersey about this.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, I'll tell you that we routinely talk to other states. And, what works in Texas may not work everywhere. But I do fully believe that our fellow biologists in other states are doing the best they can with the resources they have available to them. They're just as passionate and care as much as we do. Yeah. Some folks just can't pull it off, and some don't have the resources that we do. And so we're really lucky to be able to do it in Texas, and we share all the knowledge that we can. Our friends in Georgia and Florida, and Alabama, and Mississippi, and Arkansas, they're all doing the best they can too. So we really appreciate our fellow biologists, and that's why we're getting great fishing all over. We all work together.
That's awesome. Well, you guys are doing a great job.
You sure are, Tom. And thanks for joining us. And really appreciate you letting us at the Bass University being part of the program this weekend at the Freshwater Hall of Fame, or next weekend. So we really appreciate that. Appreciate your time, buddy. And we'll be checking in with you real soon.
Great seeing you guys. Can't wait to have Rich down and enjoy inducting Gary Klein with so many other great folks that have made a difference in Texas fishing. If you got just a second, I'll just name a few other ones, just to kind of put in perspective of who's going in there. One of our first members was actually R.D. Hull, who founded Zebco. I think that's a pretty neat deal there.
Yeah,
Tommy
cool.
Martin's a member. Lonnie Stanley's a member. So we've got a lot of great folks. Nick Cream is a member, out of Tyler, so we had, First Plastic Worm. So there's a lot of folks. Ray Mursky. Ray Mursky is an absolute giant, and so we're so proud to have Ray Mursky as a part of it. And then biologists also. When you start looking at guys like Phil Droscher. Phil Droscher was the Inland Fisheries Division Director for Texas Parks and Wildlife. That really started with the progressive regulations and bass regulations, those sort of things. So you see from scientists to anglers to industry to communicators, aquatic education. Shane Wilson from Fishing's Future. Shane was a school teacher that started a nonprofit. He's taken hundreds of thousands of families fishing in Texas alone and millions across the U.S., cool. With volunteers. So Fishing's Future, great organization. And so anyway, the Hall of Fame, we're just so proud of the folks in there. And it also shows that it takes so many different people and different walks of life to really make Texas fishing the best. And we're great to be working together. We're always better together, right?
That's awesome.
Well,
right.
being from New Jersey, how do I get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
No answer.
Blank
no answer.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. It's frozen up. There's no answer.
That says everything that needs to be said.
Rich, was that you? You're a better producer than Brian the Carpenter any day.
I swear.
Make people freeze on the drop of the dime. We love that.
Tom Lang, everybody.
Yes, Tom. That
Thank
was a good
you.
one. That was good. Wow.
What a segue.
Man, that was a great segue. Frozen. No answer. Pete, you can't be. Okay,
nope, I'm not getting in. Oh, well.
Right.
Well, hey, that was great. Check that out, guys, and we're going to be check out our social feeds because Rich will be documenting a lot of that stuff on all our channels.
Pete, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Bass University subscriber Blake Bailey.
Blake.
He just won his first bass fishing tournament ever in a volunteer BFL super tournament. He moved up to 18th in points and is now going to his first regional on the Lewis Smith Lake. And he said this is all a huge thank you to Bash U.
Awesome.
Wow.
He just became a subscriber this year and he moved up.
Putting it to work.
That's
awesome.
That is definitely putting it to work, and we hear that story from. That's a great one. Getting into the winner circle is such a magical thing. We see that a lot, and guys from all levels, from the BFL levels all the way up to the top elite levels, are using Bash University to get their game to the next level.
Yeah.
Go get signed up right now. Get some Boom Boom swim baits, hat, face shield. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, we've got a college kid that really did well.
Yeah.
One of our boys. Yes. Well, he's going to go into the New Jersey Hall of Fame.
Pete, I didn't want to say this earlier because I didn't want to offend any of our other guests, but this is the only reason I said I'd come on the show right now, because I was so stoked for Lou, and can't wait to talk to him here.
Well, here he's with us now. He's the champ of the college series, Lou Maietti.
Yeah,
yeah,
Lou Maietti from the Illuminati.
Got
the Illuminati symbol. Now, Lou, I'm telling you right now, this Illuminati, we've talked about this before on Like Live. Dude, this is your brand. This is part of your brand. Let me help you come up with this brand identity and logo. We'll get James Riley on it. We'll come up with a good tagline for you. Every time you're on stage after you weigh your fish, you do this symbol. Let me help you with this, man. This could be big.
If I can get branding help from you,
yes,
I will accept it all.
All right, Jocelyn Rich Market. Put it on the checklist of things to throw at Becky's lap, because I don't actually do anything. It's all Becky, so it's going to fall on Beck. But I'll talk to her tonight. I'll whisper in her ear. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
but I mean, hey, I'm here for the idea. I think it works.
I like it. All right, first things first, dude. I'm looking at you right now. You've been smiling the whole time. Even before we said you were on the show, you've been smiling. You've got a giant smile on your face. I mean, I know what it's like to win, but this to me was, I watched it. It was amazing. It just surreal, and I know you're still on cloud nine. Are you? Tell me how you feeling right now. This is crazy,
dude. Cloud nine, disbelief.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been texting my buddies like early this morning. I feel like I'm gonna wake up. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm living a dream right now, and I am. It's unbelievable, to say the absolute least.
Yeah. What a year, what a college career you've had. It's amazing. Before you came on, Lou, I don't even think we were on camera. We were talking about your win, and I got to watch it the last 2 days. It was so fun watching it on live. I love when there's a live camera. But I want you to talk a little bit about, what I saw you do. Amazing, like better than I've seen guys that have been doing it for 30 years do, is fish the moment, fish new stuff, fish what's in front of you. Talk a little bit about that, because I think too many times guys get wrapped up. I know I do. It's one of my major downfalls in my fishing is getting wrapped up in a waypoint or something that happened yesterday, or you know what I mean, Pete, right?
Sure.
You're getting wrapped up in history.
Fishing history.
Yeah, you did a
Gotta
great
fish
job,
open.
and it's the reason you won. Of just fishing, just junking. We call it junking around. Talk to us about that.
No, absolutely. I think back on all of it. I think about, when it was announced, we were told on day 3 of the national championship on Winya, where we absolutely sucked.
Yeah.
We were told it was on Greenwood, and dude, I was psyched.
Yeah.
And I think everybody thought I was psyched in the moment because they're like, oh, dude, the Charlotte guy, he's been there. He knows Greenwood. I had never seen the lake.
Right.
And I was psyched because when I think about fall fishing, I think about random. I think about junk fishing.
Yeah.
And there's no better way to do that than going to a place you've never seen before.
Yeah.
So knowing absolutely nothing. And then on top of that, going into this week, having only 1 day of practice, and then a seeding day, which eventually got canceled because of the storm.
Yeah.
I knew we had 1 day of practice to figure this place out. We had the storm coming in that was going to change everything drastically. And I kind of went into that practice day just saying, I'm just going to kind of look around. I hadn't looked at the lake at all. I hadn't looked at any maps. Like, I had done no research. Like, I was straight up.
Let me stop you. Did you do that on purpose? Did you purposely? Yes. Okay. Talk about that, because I think that's a big point. You purposely didn't want to know anything.
Just like everything I was talking about, dude, I went in I wanted to know nothing.
Yeah.
I knew in my heart that I was, capable of winning this tournament.
Yeah.
But I knew the only way for me to do it is if I fished to my full ability in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going into practice, I just kind of went out there and just got a good look at things and realized pretty quickly, like, any bite I get shallow right now, all it's going to do for me is lead me in the wrong direction come tournament day.
Right.
And so I went out deep and graphed almost my entire practice, which is something I never do.
Wow.
I just went out deep looking for confidence, simply because I knew what was at stake. And I knew as much as I tried to push it out of my brain, I would be shaken first day of the tournament.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted something that I could go into the tournament, catch a quick couple of fish, whether it be a limit or just 2 or 3 fish just to have in the boat, just something to cool my nerves off.
Yeah.
And then my whole plan was to go shallow the rest of the day and just fish, just exactly what you said. And, learn from you, really, is just go and fish the moment. And that's kind of what we did.
Man, that was amazing. That's so hard, Pete. I don't think, we have people watching and listening that just fun fish and just, it's probably harder to wrap your hands around that. But in a tournament world, to start with a clean slate and to have nothing, right, just to go shallow on a whim like that, that's tough to do, dude. That's not an easy thing. Mentally.
It's easy to say.
It's easy to say.
Right? We all say
yeah.
it. This is what we want to do. We want to fish free and open.
Yeah.
But what happens is you don't get a bite, and the demons start creeping
right,
in.
Yeah.
And they start
the voices.
They start drawing you back into what you did yesterday or last week
year.
or last year.
Yeah.
And they start drawing you in. Did that happen? Well, you were you were fishing free. How did you accomplish it?
Yeah.
Man, that's a hard question to answer. I really went into it with the mindset of just go out and have a good time. I really struggled like 2 weeks leading up to the tournament, thinking about how I was going to prepare mentally, because like I said, I knew I was capable to win the tournament. And the only way it would happen is if I fished perfect. Or as well as I could. So I kind of struggle. Like, do I really want to get super in tune, dialed in, not talk to anybody all week and just like, tunnel vision, I'm going to win this tournament. It's the only thing I want to think about. Or do I want to go into it and just say, look, I'm going to go have fun. I enjoy fishing. I'm going to have fun doing it. And I kind of went that route just because looking back on our year, we won Team of the Year. And I thought about the best day I had all year long, as far as mental decisions, fishing free, all of it, was the second day at Saginaw. And it was the day that we went out, we had lost the lead in points. And I said, look, man, to Michael, my partner, I said, look, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. We're going shallow smallmouth fishing, sight fishing. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. Let's just go have fun.
Yeah.
And I thought I fished better than I did all year, just from a decision making and free of mind standpoint. So I went into the week with the same mindset, like looking to go have fun. That's hard to do in the Carolinas in the fall, but that was the goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a great mindset. I think honestly, the little bit of a relating fact there is, I think for me personally this year, I had a really bad year, and I think Greg and I were talking about it, but I think some of it was mental. I think some of it for me was I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to want to win one. I wanted to win one, get back to bass and win one, and then literally like retire. Like, the middle finger comes up as I'm reeling and be like, thank you. But, I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to win. And the few events I had this year where I did better, I kind of had fun, and I got myself in the mindset. So I love that. But I really talk about this, Lou, for us, because this is a big thing that I noticed, which is, you have this clean slate, and it's easy, Pete said it's easy to talk about, and you get on a bank, and you're in the back of a pocket, and you start working your way out to the main lake, and I saw you do that a lot, and that's just a canvas there. And then when I look down on your boat, by the way, I'm super proud of you for this. No organization to your 30 rods on the deck. Definitely look like my boat. I love that. Screw Brian Thrift. We don't care about Brian Thrift being organized here. We want this organization in cluster. So I love that. But, to our listeners and viewers, here it goes. You got a blank canvas, back of the pocket to the main lake. How did you pick what you were going to throw? Because I watched you fish different baits every day. And, from a wacky rig to a buzz bait to a plopper to a jig. Talk about that, because I think that's an interesting topic. How do you do that? How do you go about doing that,
So that is where a little bit of, history, knowledge, kind of feel, all that kind of stuff comes into play. I've been living next to Lake Norman for the last 4 years now.
Yeah.
And in the fall, it's a pretty, not basic, but as far as shallow fishing goes, it's not a super complex array of baits. It's a spinner bait, it's a buzz bait, it's a jig. Some guys will mix in a crankbait. I'm an absolutely horrendous crankbait fisherman, so I left it away. Jerk bait you can throw in there, and then I just have utmost confidence in a wacky rig in the fall, which I think sounds weird to a lot of people, but I kind of have confidence in a year round. And I think the fall, it really shines if you can get the right conditions, which we kind of didn't this week. Yeah. So yeah, just really picked up my fall Carolina, spotted bass, largemouth bass, mixed lake confidence baits, and just rolled with them.
That's awesome.
Well, I want to throw it. I know we got people watching, Josh. I want to throw it to you. You got a question for
We do. Blake Bailey wants to know at what point in the fall would you switch from throwing the small shad imitation baits to throwing larger baits, like a larger walking bait or like a glide bait or bull shad?
Lou might be frozen.
Why we get Lou back? That's a great question. Who said that, Jocelyn?
Blake Bailey.
Blake Bailey.
He's the one that just won his tournament.
Okay, so the interesting thing about that is we'll let Lou get on it in a second here. But Nick did address that, which is really cool. And I do think that what Nick said has merit, which is, to me, it seems like earlier in the fall when that fall feed's going on, when the fish first start getting back up shallow, they want little. But as the fall progresses and the gizzard, I heard Nick say the bigger bait starts coming back shallow. Mm-hmm. So my answer would be, that was a great point by Nick, that, as the fall progresses, so later fall, the bigger baits. But what Lou was talking about early season, with early fall with those little smaller shad color baits, dude, it's key. I've seen it forever. I mean, even up here, not even in the Carolinas, I've seen it. So yeah.
So I guess let's hear how Lou makes his adjustment. But when you see those gizzards up, is a good time.
I couldn't agree more. And I think another thing that matters is just what kind of lake are you fishing, and the kind of fish you're fishing around. When I was fishing, especially on Greenwood, a lot of small spotted bass. And as stupid as it sounds, and it felt, I was targeting 1.5 pound, 1 3/4 fish. Those were your better fish.
Right.
So, if you're out there, I think a lot of guys were throwing a chatterbait around with a bigger trailer on the back. And I definitely did throw it around. I caught a 4-pounder on it day 2.
Yeah.
But I thought smaller, that plopper, I even threw a 1.0, a little Strike King 1.0 around. Just something to get, at some points we were praying for 1.5 pound spotted bass.
Yeah.
And those are the baits that I feel most confident in getting that bite with.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, this is a personal question. Do you think coming from New Jersey, having that Jersey background, did that help you with that mindset? Because a lot of guys can't. They talk about a difference between 1.25 pounds and 1.5 pounds. They can't even understand it. But it was key in this event. Yeah. Did it help you coming from Jersey?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I can't remember how many tournaments on Acid Pink and Deal, freaking the Manasquan Reservoir, even in some of its down years, where that extra 1/2 pound per fish. That's kind of where I came from. Is I always felt like the North rewards those who figure it out a little bit more, just because the big bite doesn't play as much.
Yeah.
It's funny because I got. The big bite played a lot this week, but I've always been, the kind of guy who searches out the better average as opposed to the limit and the big bite.
And
which is something you have to get used to in the South. But no, definitely. I mean, just growing up in Jersey and knowing how to target that little bit better class fish, how to get on that kind of a pattern sometimes definitely helped out.
Man, that makes a lot of difference, and it's interesting that you say that, because I've always felt that too. Like I talk about the better than average size fish being so important.
Oh yeah,
like even if it's a quarter pound difference at the end of a 3-day a multi-day competition. Man, that extra pound, extra ounces makes a huge difference. So I guess that is maybe more of a northern thing, because we don't. Man, it's so intelligent what you said that we don't have that 10-pound option.
No,
that's not going to happen.
No, we do not.
That average fish is everything.
No, we do not.
And you used it to. We need to get Tom Lang up here.
Yeah.
See if we can get some of those
bass in Jersey.
Lunker shares.
How do we do that?
But you were bank no forward facing sonar.
Oh no!
Hold on. Oh, sorry. I'm the only one clapping. I don't know what that means. But.
As a matter of fact, no sonar at all.
Oh, we're all clapping now.
Old school.
I mean, I found, my little bit of offshore stuff in practice using side scan on my HGS Gen 1, the old LSS2 transducer. I know a lot of you guys know that thing. I was finding that stuff, marking on the graph, pulling up 100 feet away, and then throwing the marker buoy out there. And just
marker buoy. Fossil.
Wow.
Fossil out there floating.
They still make those?
Fluorescent fossil.
Marker buoys are still like the most efficient way.
It's pretty efficient.
It's like there's no guessing.
No, there's no guessing, and it dials you into the exact lineup. And I still, to this day, I carry one with me because of that. I like that line. You can really know that line. Yeah, but
I feel great about it. You just find where the wind's blowing at, and get in your line, pick a house on the bank, and that's your target.
That's awesome. That's there's a lost art to that. I think that's a whole seminar within itself. But
especially when like your sonar goes south.
Oh yeah, if your sonar goes,
you got electrical problem, or you got this or that.
Get struck by lightning.
You got to remember. You got to remember how to triangulate.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is.
I would argue that a lot of younger anglers, mid-20s or less, have no idea what triangulation even means.
Yep.
Right.
They can't do it. So that's a great show topic. Rich, we should put a note about that. It's a great show topic. Speaking of dinosaurs, though, Lou, and ancient fossils, I do want to call something out. And I really pay attention to what you had on your deck. I geek out because I zoom in on the live. Like, you can do it. Like, there's a way to, do it. And then the way that I do is I take a picture, and then I'm able to zoom in, So I'm, watching live. And I'm like, what the hell? I need to know what's on those 30 rods, so I zoom in. I saw a bait, and I know you used it a little bit and caught some fish on it this week. Double, I call it egg beater. Basically a double buzz bait, double-bladed buzz bait. Man, that's a fossil. That's not one that a lot of guys talk about. I mean, that
rarely heard from.
Yeah, I mean, the head clackers and the clackers with a toad on the back that's what people throw. But you threw a little different buzzbait. Talk a little bit about that bait, because that's a dinosaur. That's a fossil.
Yeah, so we actually make that at Biz Baits. It's in the True South line of baits. It's John's been making that thing for 10 years now. It's the V-twin frame. So he's got the V-twin buzzbait as well, skirted. But obviously, I think the last 3-4 years, the buzzbait frame or the toad buzzbait, however you want to call it, has been the deal.
Yeah.
So he's been making that thing forever, and we sell make the frame with a little bit smaller blade. And the biggest key to this thing, and this is where a lot of other companies miss the mark on that bait, is you have to have counter rotating blades.
Yeah.
If that bait has two of the same rotating blades, it's gonna, and you know how every buzzbait just runs a little bit off track?
Yeah.
That double buzzbait will really run off on you.
Gotcha.
Whereas when you've got the counter rotating, you throw it out there, it's coming straight back to you.
Gotcha. That's a cool
bait.
bait.
I think it's a key bait in the fall, especially just because the blades on that thing, dude, they're tiny.
Yeah.
So you got two little silver blades, and I was putting that little junior craw on the back.
Yeah.
Just a small little bait. Just trying to, again, imitate those small shad and, get a smaller fish to bite.
Yeah.
So
very cool bait. Cool bait.
Yeah. I've not had success with that dual buzz bait. So I got to incorporate that into my game.
Yeah.
It's
a cool bait.
The small blades sounds interesting.
Egg beater.
Egg beater.
Yeah. The old
Little
egg.
shad.
It's a fish catcher.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you hanging out with us and sharing this win with us. It was awesome.
Incredible. We got a Jersey guy in the Classic.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not from North Carolina. You're from Jersey.
No,
Jersey
I
guy
am.
in the
That's
Classic.
exact.
Yeah. What the
Right.
and now I gotta ask you that. I mean, you're going to the Classic, man.
Yeah, dude. That's how many people have made the Classic in their life? You're going as a young
Only a
guy.
handful of college kids
Yeah.
that ever make it.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously it's accomplishment of a lifetime, and you're super stoked about it. But I need to know, what mindset are you going to take on in the Classic? Are you going to use the same approach? Because here's the thing: much bigger fishery, much stiffer competition, right? Greenwood look like Greenwood. The Greenwood that you fish look like Greenwood Lake in Jersey. It's like you could be one end to the other
true.
in a minute. The Classic Lake's not like that. It's giant. It's massive. You got other species. You got smallmouth. What's your mindset going into that tournament?
Well, until I got that email from Chris Bowes, I was going to ask you for that waypoint on the rock pile from last time. But no, I don't know, man. I was talking about it with my buddy just a couple minutes ago. I say now that I really just want to go and enjoy it because, it's been a dream of mine forever, just to make it to one, let alone try and win one.
Yeah.
So I really, I don't want to miss out on anything while I'm there. I really want to enjoy it. But he made a good point and said to me, look, like, dude, you're not going to go there and just roll over and just have a good time. You're going to try and catch them. I was like, you're right. Yeah. So I haven't thought at all of how I'm actually going to catch them or anything like that. I'm just right now just so freaking stoked to get there and meet everybody, see you guys. I think we're going to have a freaking good time at the after party.
Woo! I have after party. We're already Charles is booking it right now at a bar, so get ready for it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
To do a better job. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm freaking stoked, man.
That's awesome.
What's up with the Chris Bowes? Is the information closed for the Classic?
Well, as soon as he made it, as soon as he was declared the winner,
it's off.
It's off. Technically.
I didn't know
so,
that.
But that it's Chris's job to send that message then and say,
right.
No more. Now he could still solicit public knowledge, public information, watch the videos. He can go start practice. He could do all that. But he couldn't call you and say, Pete, give me that. By the way, that rock, you don't want that rock pile anyway. There's been so many crankbaits fished over it. It's smooth. It's all smooth. It's small. It's not even a mound at this point. It's like Becky's chest. There's nothing there. It's just flat and smooth. By the way, I love Beck, so I can say that. But you don't want that anyway. It says there's nothing there anymore. Yeah.
It's hard to transition
right.
on that one. Like.
He's blushing.
Right.
Well, we actually have a really cool question for you. They want to know who introduced you into fishing and what kind of advice would you give to someone that wants to take a kid out fishing?
Great question. Lou?
Oh, man. That's an awesome question. So my dad introduced me to fishing when I was like 3. I caught my first fish in Brick, New Jersey, in a little pond. It was a pickerel. But what?
Brick. Shout out to Brick.
Shortly after, it was like only saltwater fishing. That's the only thing I cared about. It's the only thing we did. And when I was about, probably 11 or 12 years old, one of my buddies in grade school, Gavin, he was like, hey, man, like, you ought to try a bass fishing. I said, dude, that sounds like the lamest thing in the world. I want to go catch tuna or whatever else. Just swim in the saltwater, screw that. And I got bit bad by the bug. And, I wasn't very good at any other sports as a kid, so I had to be competitive at something, and fishing it was. And advice, just take a kid out fishing, and if he shows that same drive and addiction to it that I did, or that any of us guys that are true fish heads do, encourage him that he can do it, man. I mean, a couple summers of work and you can afford a boat like the one I have. Until this year, I drove an 03 Explorer around the country pulling that thing. Toledo, St. Lawrence, Kentucky Lake, you name it. I pulled that thing everywhere.
That's awesome.
That's an affordable rig that if you get to the college series, you can do what I did this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to want it. That's the bottom line. You got to want it, and you got to want it more than anybody else.
Yep. Great advice.
So what's the future look like for you, Lou? Are you going to pursue a career as a pro angler, or is that in your wheelhouse? What do you think?
I hope so. I mean, I'm most certainly going to for the next 12 months or 15 months, whatever it is. Bass is generous enough, and the sponsors, Strike King, Luz, Nitro, all those guys, Toyota, they're going to get me a brand new rig with a brand new Toyota, brand new Nitro.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. So I'll be running a brand new rig next year, wrapped in my school, UNC Charlotte's colors. And Bass also offers free entry into all 9 opens.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's
mackerel.
awesome.
That is great.
Yeah. My advice to you is run that boat into the ground. Return that thing with half the wrap hanging off, wires, shit falling all over the place. That's my advice.
Don't listen, Lou.
No,
Don't
listen to me. I've been doing it 30 years.
Isn't your advice to just keep winning the Classic over and over again?
That is my best advice.
That's good advice.
Forget about the Opens. Just go win the Classic.
Well,
You'll be invited back next
That's
year.
the best advice. Yeah.
That's fair.
Just the best advice.
Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Easiest course of action.
Yeah.
Man, it's so exciting, man.
It's exciting.
Going to get a new ride. Are you graduating this spring or?
I graduated in May, so this was it. If I didn't do it in this
Grand
tournament,
finale.
I was, figuring out payments and figuring out how to get a boat and a new truck and the whole 9. So this was like the last ditch effort, and
Very
it
cool.
happened.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's
awesome.
so cool.
Well, we'll be rooting for you at the Classic for sure.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you, man.
You're at the top of the
We're going to
list
have a
for
good
me.
time at the Classic. I'll
Yes.
hang with y'all.
Yes, it's gonna be good.
Awesome.
gonna
Well,
be
don't forget there's a tournament going on.
There is a tournament. Yeah,
You know?
that's first. Yeah,
That's-
we'll party after.
Yeah,
with the trophy.
Yeah, well, that after party.
Yeah.
we got to do it. Well, Lou,
Sweet.
thanks so much. Congratulations,
Yeah,
man. I didn't
congrats.
know about all the other stuff with the Opens and the ride and the new gear, man. That's congratulations and great.
Thank you so much.
Man, what a deal! I didn't realize that was part of the
Thinking
package.
about going back
Bass.
to school now for your doctorate, your master. You have a master's?
No,
you have,
I
you
just
don't
have bachelor's.
Well, go back for a master's.
I could do that. I think I redshirted, so maybe I have another year of
There you go.
eligibility.
I think you should.
There you go.
Maybe
Do it.
I don't know.
Come to Charlotte.
Come on now.
The beers are cold. The women are hot.
I think I'm done with that. But I'll leave that up to Lou. And congratulations, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. It's always great to have you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Illuminati, everyone.
Illuminati. The best. Hey, just one more thing. If anybody's watching and is not subscribed to the Bass University, get on it. I've learned a lot from it. I'm still a subscriber, so get on there. It's great stuff.
Man, thank you for that, Lou. And thanks for being part of the program. And look at that. The Bass University helps another angler into the Classic.
That's awesome. Heck
Illuminati.
That's awesome.
Illuminati.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was great. Great. Good luck to you, Lou. And, man, what a great show. What a trio of amazing guests.
Yeah, it was.
We learned a lot. And really cool to see him in the dirt, winning that thing.
Cool, man.
Just doing what he does,
Super cool.
So we've got a couple things. Like I said, I'm super excited about the new element, all the new technology into the Cashion fishing rods that are they available now?
They are now. They just went live. So
They just went live. Well, I can tell you, once you put it in your hand, you'll immediately recognize the advancements that they made with that rod. You're going to love it. And I'm going to be actually getting out on the water with it this afternoon for the first time. So I look forward to
Nice. That's awesome.
to taking it for a test drive. But great job down there, Matt, on the Cashion rods. I also want to give a quick shout out to somebody. It's been a friend of the show. This is Jesse Pointek. He came out with me and Brian on a guide trip on the Chesapeake, and he's from Minnesota. He's got diagnosed with Lyme's disease, and he's got to go through some extreme treatments down in Tennessee. And I just want to say we're thinking about you, Jesse.
We love
and,
Jesse. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Wishing you all the best, buddy, on that. And other than that, man, I think we're gonna wrap up today's show. Look for if you're not a subscriber to Bass U, it's a great deal. Oh, we were not ready. We got
we
prizes.
are not ready.
Oh, get over there.
Prizes.
We're going to give away a Boom Boom swim bait, hat, face shield for all our annual subscribers. Last chance to do your Facebook like and share. Guys, we're going to be giving away that prize, and we have a question.
Yes, we do. We have a grand prize. We have a grand prize question. It's going to be something that ties back to today's show, and it's a nitty-gritty one.
What do you got?
They're going to really have to be paying attention to get this answer right. So in the classic that Skeet won, what was the name of the spot that Mike was fishing in? In the classic that Skeet won, what was the name of the spot Mike was fishing in? And we need the exact detail.
Yeah, I think that classic was 2008. Was it 2008? I think was the classic. It was 8 or 9. 8 sounds
that
right.
was on the Red
River. Yeah, classic on the Red River.
I would have won that prize. I remembered it.
I think
and that's for the grand prize.
I think I remember it now too.
Me too.
Okay.
What was the name of the place where you won the Federation National Championship down there?
I won it in a place. The name that I knew it by was Community Hole, which was a giant oxbow that was in 5. I didn't have to go far from. That particular year, we were launched from actually downtown Shreveport, but even from Shreveport, it was 10 minutes, 15 minutes downriver, and it's an area that I've known as Community Hole. So I don't know what the exact name is.
I got you.
Now it's really Community Hole. Back then it was kind of a Community Hole.
I remember checking that out when we were down there fishing the Red.
Oh yeah.
I went and looked at that.
Yeah, it was interesting because that year it was getting a lot of pressure, but nobody was fishing. The fish were suspended in the trees, and nobody was fishing for those. They were all either flipping the bank and that stuff, and they were suspended. And I was swimming a jig. I once swam a jig. Nobody remembers.
I remember that. Because you didn't hear about swimming.
No, it was old school as you get, man. I mean, it wasn't that. When you say swim a jig now, people think of that grass. They think of the Alabama shake. Yeah. Rizzo knows. You're up in that emergent grass and you're ting, ting, ting. I was straight up counting it down to where they were at and just reeling it.
Reeling it in.
That's a swim jig.
No doubt. Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can do it.
Oh yeah.
You got a Facebook winner for us?
We do. So the Facebook like and share winner is going to Die Hard Anglers.
Ooh. Thank you for watching, Die Hard Anglers.
And we also have a winner for the trivia question. Brett won with the answer Little Jungle.
Little Jungle. How awesome of a spot name.
Oh yeah. By the way. There's big jungle and little jungle. But
that's why I remembered it.
Yes.
That is so freaking.
Brett. Congrats. Nice job. Who won? Brett.
Yeah,
Brett.
Mm-hmm. Get Brett where I said.
Thanks for watching, Brett. Great answer. Congratulations on your prize, guys. We're going to be we'll keep you posted next week. We'll be announcing what's going on with Bass University Live. I think we might be off. We've got to see if BTC can be back in studio for us next week. But we'll keep you guys posted. We'll have a lot of great new information. We're going to be filming this week, so check us out on social.
Next week. A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of filming.
Yeah. Who is a talent? We got Lee Livesey.
Hey.
Nick LeBrun.
Who we just had.
You
Greg DiPalma, me,
Greg,
Ike,
Pete,
all happening in the
Brian.
next 2 weeks.
And Brian Schmidt.
Oh, yeah. Oh my Lord. It's
so
like Murderer's Row. So look for all that coming on Bass University TV. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye. Got to go out to that. Dave Brodzik watching. I know he's
play my song. Play my song.
Did you play some
First time I've played an only audio file on VU Live.
You're playing it. That's better.
Trying to figure out how to work. Hang on.
Pete's all wet.
Cool, my friend. Whoa, Pete's all wet. I hear he's old, or so I'm told. But did you see that tuck and roll? Flood tide, full moon, bees nest, no rest, still catches fish. Peak Luzak bitches. Peak Luzak bitches. Whoa, Pete's all wet. Whoa, Pete's all wet. Get out the way, he's in the bay, fell in